Hey everybody, hello YouTube family. I feel like I ignore you guys too much, and I apologize for that on the one hand, but I do have to focus on where my business is stationed, which is Facebook and Instagram, at least at this time. But I woke up to a handful of new subscribers on YouTube this morning, um, and it just sort of reminded me that uh, that you guys are out there, and some of you I know are not on Facebook and are not on Instagram, so you're not going to see some of the other stuff that I'm putting out there. Happy Eclipse! It's Christmas Day. We are in an outrageous turn of the year. I've been an astrologer for 25 years, and if you know me at all, you know that I'm subject to hyperbole and love the grand sweeping language of dramatic expression, and that is accurate of me. But it's also true that in 25 years of being in astrology, I don't really think I've seen quite this level of intensity. First and foremost, Pluto and Saturn are coming together in Capricorn January 12th in a meeting that only happens every 4 decades or so in general. And it has only happened in Capricorn like every half century. So like 500 years ago or so, the planet of change, transformation, death, Lord of the underworld, power, authority, gravitas, and the capacity to change things all the way down to the molecular level and back. That's Pluto. Saturn is all about karma, responsibility, lessons, restriction, structure, and the way that we learn and grow through karmic lessons, such that we finish our lives wiser than we began our lives. That's Saturn's job. Pluto is a transpersonal planet. So Pluto's about the higher consciousness that we all share as beings, individualized beings on the planet. We share consciousness with the collective, and that would be akin to any of the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. So that capacity for life to change down to the molecular level that I'm talking about is something that's way bigger than us as human beings, way bigger than us, even as a collective. The collective consciousness of the planet receives Pluto's energy at the collective level, at the individual level, and at this sort of other meta level where the mystery gets really big. That's Pluto. Saturn, though, is a social planet. Saturn and Jupiter create our experience on the globe itself, where Saturn creates the structure and provides the discipline and the restriction and the brakes, and Jupiter is the gas. Jupiter is abundance and expansion and prosperity. So if Saturn is moving around, we are learning stuff. We are putting into process stuff around what's the right thing to do, what a structure and discipline tell us. Now, you put these two together and you've got a potential destructive energy to social experiences and constructs that are no longer serving. And one of the things that we're seeing happen this year, and we will continue to see in abundance next year, is the social structures that we thought were solid are beginning to topple and tumble. And we're certainly seeing that as a function of really big life difficulties out there, like, the political landscape in the United States, Brexit, in the UK, are conflicts and polarizing experiences that are very easy to see when you turn on the news and go, well, that's happening out there. Isn't that polarizing? Isn't that difficult? Isn't that pitting sides up against each other saying, I'm right, no, I'm right? Well, remember, kids, that's happening inside of each of us as well. If it's happening out there, it's happening in here. And peace will never come out there by virtue of everybody agreeing. That's never going to happen. That's not how peace happens. That's actually called war. When I stand on my side and say, yeah, you need to agree with me in order for us to have peace for humanity. Even if I feel like I'm standing on the more reasonable side, demanding that you agree with me in order for us to have peace is called war. So our job as human beings during this wildly elevated time is to find enough spaciousness in our own experience to hold the cognitive dissonances of the polarizing experiences that we feel as human beings. certainly head and heart, how I think and how I feel. That's a human experience that's often polarizing. Wanting certain things, but not feeling deserving of them. The wanting is a thought process. I want that. The feeling element of maybe I don't feel like I deserve such things. Uh, that's a polarizing experience, right? So all of us have to be attempting to healing those divides within us. And then as we do that on the planet, more and more people do that and end the wars within their own consciousness. That's when we'll see peace for humanity out there. And we're doing our little part in this crazy 2019 and an even crazier 2020. And it's just an interesting moment to check in, especially since we're at the turn of the year. We're in a new moon moment. It's also an eclipse. We are in a lot of intention setting mojo. Whether you set intentions because it's a new moon or you set intentions because it's the turn of the year and we create a consciousness of beginning again in the new year and say, well, what do I want to create this year? What do I want to draw into my life anew? In local parlance, we call that, resolutions. In a daily spiritual practice that would use astrology as a foundation, we call it setting intentions. And the power of this year and next year through the lens of astrology is because these planets that are changing everything, Pluto, and demanding that we do so, Saturn, are in Capricorn, the sign, by the way, ruled by Saturn. So structure, discipline. Structure is the important consciousness here because Capricorn is the sign where we invented social structures like governments, laws, agreements of all sorts that make the world work together is a Capricorn construct. So remember, if it's out there, it's in here too. So there are constructs that live inside each of us as individuals, ideas and beliefs that we have about life that are subject to change and transformation last year, meaning 2019, and next year, 2020. So we're moving through a period of time that is so transformational that all of the things about change that terrify us are going to come up. The fact that the sun is in Capricorn and the moon is in Capricorn right now intensifies all of the energy that we're building towards creating 2020 with, right? The big meeting of Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn happens in January 12th, in fact. And the next eclipse that closes the wormhole that opens up tonight with this first eclipse happens on the 10th of January. So just as we get through the really intense period between eclipses, we have this peak energy of Saturn and Pluto coming together. And that's going to set up really what the rest of the year feels like, as Jupiter in Capricorn also, everybody's in Capricorn right now, sweeps through that mansion during 2020, creating big, huge waves of energy that replicate the intensity that's building now through mid-January. And all you got to do is turn on the news to have an idea of the outward expression of what I'm talking about. And again, remember though, I'm talking about here in my conversation with you. I'm not interested in your thoughts about politics. I'm interested in your thoughts about self-change, self-transformation, self-reflection, and the intentions that you set between now and the end of the year to carry you into what is really going to be a magnificent energy that 2020 is going to bring us, to be focused, clear about what you want to create, a capacity to build and move towards those goals. That's what's present with all of this energy in Capricorn. Fear-based folks would have you thinking the world is going to end. It's not going to end. Are things going to intensify? Yes, they are. Is 2020 going to be more difficult and challenging with grappling with the outside world than 2019? Absolutely. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get more intense. Even that doesn't take an astrologer to tell you. Turn on the news and you can only imagine what 2020 is going to look like, accelerating into an election year and blah, 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 all those things that are happening in the outer landscape that reflect all of the shift and change that's going on the planet. spend some time between now and the end of the year. And certainly if you see this video early enough around the 25th, 26th, or 27th of December, that's when the new moon is, that's when the eclipse is. That is the richest intention setting time for the setting us up for at least this lunar cycle that brings December into January and helping us set up for a 2020 that is grounded in your focused discipline. What am I creating? What am I gonna put my attention on in a more focused way? Last year, Jupiter, the expanding planet, was in Sagittarius, which is a sign, his own sign, where he's like, oh, I want to do this, 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 I want to do everything. And now we're in focus land. What did you discover last year that jazzes you and juices you the most? What are you up to that you want to bring to the world, but that would require a more detailed, focused Capricornian perspective? Think about that over these couple of days and dial them in with powerful intention settings that you do now and as we move towards January 1st. I'm going to be doing one comprehensive overview for 2020 with my pal Janet Connor on the 6th of January at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can join us. She'll help hold and create sacred space. I'll be spending about 75 minutes or so breaking down everything that 2020 is going to include. And you can go to michaellennox.com, scroll all the way down. That's the easiest place to see to get to the link that sets you up to register for that. There is an exchange, $20. But I hope you'll join me for that. And I hope that you pass through these couple of days and into the new year experience with a sense of power, purpose, directed focus, and understand that if you are learning how to do you in your unique way, now you're contributing to peace on the planet. It's not going to happen when everybody agrees, but it is going to happen as more people on the planet know who they are, know what you bring, and then go ahead and bring it. That's what 2020 is all about from my perspective. So have at it, everybody.